my name is Valerie. Today I'm going to show you how to feed a horse with a round bale under a tarp outside. I don't have a place. If you have a place inside of a barn, dry place, and you have room, put 4 pallets down. That would be perfect. I can't wait till I have that. But anyway, I have to do it outside. So we can't use a plastic tarp. They don't work very well. Either they sweat or obviously they fall apart in no time at all. These tarps, these canvas tarps, I've found they last 2 to 3 years. You know, by the 3rd year, it typically, the last one was thinner than this one, so we'll see how long this one lasts. Hopefully it lasts longer. But anyway, there's a particular way of going about it. I'll explain in this video. I have a horse that has heaves, or he gets heaves easily with just a little bit of mold dust. And if you have the bale in the corral, they'll make big holes down in it. And these bales are really, really big. So even my 3 horses don't finish it very fast, especially if there's a lot of rain. A bunch of rain dumps on it just ruins it quick. And also my pasture, when it rains, of course my horses are like, woohoo, I'd rather eat the grass out here that's growing in this rain. So, the hay just sits there and gets moldy, and it's much easier to do it this way. And I always have hay available ready to use if I have to shut a horse up, gets hurt or something. And also when I train for other people, I'll fork this hay into the shed by my training shed where that horse stays. So anyway, it really does work if you're diligent about doing it carefully and making sure that if there's any hay sticking out, gets wet, clean that up right away. It's not too big a deal. So I hope this helps somebody, and keep watching.
Now this is the center of the previous bale. It got so small around that it just would fall over, so I helped it fall over in a spot that would be fairly easy to roll off once it was time to put the next bale down out of the way, and try to keep it on the pallets as much as I can at this point. But once it's this small, it's okay to go I put it against the shed there nearby, and then I use a plastic tarp temporarily over it until it's completely gone. Also, you want to make sure that you pick up those pallets every time in between bales. Knock all the hay bits and junk out of it. That way you keep the airflow going through there with the new bale. Otherwise it'll just fill up and it'll be like on dirt, and there's no point in the pallets. So that's something to remember. Now sometimes there'll be a time where we feel like we may not be able to get one down on the pallets right at the right time, if it's weather coming or something. And anyway, sometimes we'll tarp it up in the driveway, the next bale in the driveway, ready for whenever we're ready to do it. We just can't do it. I don't put it down if it's actually busy raining. Even a sprinkle. I mean, a little sprinkle's not that big a deal, but I try not to put one down when it's even raining at all. So this is what it looks like once we put the bale on the pallets. I didn't get any video or anything putting this bale down because it was getting dark when we did it, and we were trying to beat weather, so there was no way any video or anything would come out very good in the dark. But anyway, what's left of the center of the other piece I moved over by the shed under that blue tarp temporarily, and this one I keep it wrapped up until that other stuff is all gone. Then I'll go through and take cut the wrap off. Okay, here I will knock the tires off first, mostly just a complete side like that, and then I'll put that tarp up, just kind of hook it over the top. These bales are really, really wide, so this works okay. If your bales aren't very wide, I don't know how it'll work for you, but anyway, you probably need a smaller tarp if you have a smaller bale. Anyway, I just fork out the outside layer a little bit, whatever's falling off here, because it's a new bale. There'll be a lot of stuff falling off. I try to keep it cleaned up, and there's 2 stalls right around the corner where you can't see that I put the hay into. And anyway, I try to keep it all cleaned off of the edge of the pallet to where air can kind of still get in there to prevent any extra molding in the future. And watch out for your pitchfork to poke the tarp. That's what I was moving that out of the way for, so that I didn't put a hole in my tarp. And anyway, I think that's about all I need to say there. When I put it in the stalls, I put along the wall, so hopefully they won't pee on too much of it. I mean, you can't help it when they pull it out and then pee in it, but I try to stack it along the walls a little bit. Just one side. So, I think that is most of it. It doesn't hurt in the beginning to feed extra hay so that you keep the hay away from the edges of the pallets and stuff. Keep it from, getting into the ground, and then ground moisture comes up. Sorry for the noise. I have 3 horses to feed. One of them is a draft horse, so I try to give them enough hay. And I go by how much they're eating too. If they're not eating it up a bunch, then I know I don't need to feed as much the next feeding. Sometimes grass pops up with rain or whatever, and we have trees, so they find the tree leaves or something, and they decide to go for the green stuff, of course, more than your hay. And now here, moving stuff out of my way, and I go in just to show you where I set the hay. Pile it there, and everybody's eating, so they're out of my hair. I don't have I don't even have to shut the gate. I just go in, give them their hay. They're busy eating, so they're not going to leave their food. So I try to feed hay real quick. That way they're out of my way, and I can do it without anybody escaping. Because they don't escape. They're busy. They're eating that candy, man. And lastly is putting the tarp back, which is not hard. Obviously, it's the opposite of what you did to put it up there. Pull it back down, pull corners down, put the tires back on. And also on the corners, the tarp can also accidentally be on the corner of the pallet, and then your tire goes down, and sometimes it can be on the corner just right. Not in that one, but not in this video, but the tire can be, have that tarp tightened down over the corner of the pallet, and it can tear up the tarp. I have a few holes from that. And the rope is a new thing that I've started to try. I don't know if it's going to be any easier or make things harder. It'll have to be tightened down all the time, constantly, as the bale gets smaller. So who knows if it'll be helpful or not. I think it would help in the bad weather, the storms. I usually used bungee cords on 2 sides. 2 sides have tires. The other 2 shorter sides, I usually use a bungee cord until it gets so small around that just don't need the bungee cords. But it's okay for the wind to kind of flap it a little bit because air gets through there. But I don't want it flapping too much. It'll tear up the tarp, and Kansas wind gets pretty crazy, so I just try to keep it from going too wild and crazy. I'll have to do a lot of tightening up that rope if I use this. I'm trying it. We'll see how it goes. I'm still figuring out how best to tie it to make it easy to tighten it down. Okay. This is about like cinching a horse. Guess I need to figure out a way to cinch it like you cinch a horse. I think that's pretty much it. This is Leo. He is the one that gets heaves if I don't feed us this way. When you have a horse that is so good for with your kids, I mean, they can do whatever they want on him, and he's so tolerable. So it makes it all the trouble. It makes it all worth it. Thanks for watching.